Cynthia.
Whoop, whoop.
So, happy November.
Yeah,
How fast?
I'm sorry, but it's November 20th. I
What?
can't believe that this month has passed by so fast.
I know
I don't
it
know what it was. I
has.
think I was kind of like in a dream state for the first half of November. I'm not gonna lie. It
For the
didn't
first
exist.
half of the year for
Yeah.
me. Like, what?
Yeah.
How is this so? Is it really almost 2023?
Yeah.
These past 4 years, like, no lie, these past 4 years or three, whatever, before the pandemic,
Mhm.
it's it's just flown by. But anyways, so what are you drinking, Christy?
Oh, I am having okay, so Starbucks, I like to indulge in their holiday beverages every so often, but not all of them. I have my favorites. And one of the
Tell me.
holiday drinks that I've put a lot of people on is the chestnut praline latte.
Oh, I tried that.
Do you like it or no?
Well, excuse me. I'm a frappuccino kind of gal.
Oh, okay. You like the cold
And
drinks?
yes, cold drinks all the way. In the cold version, frappuccino, like, it was a little too sweet for me. Do you happen to know if the pistachio one was during the holidays, or was it like,
I don't know. I've never had it. I want to say it's
oh,
not because I kind of have memories of it being around in the summertime.
oh, okay. Well, I missed that one.
Okay.
This one for me, it was a little too sweet, but also I'm not much of a sweet tooth. So tell me about the hot version.
Okay. It is very sweet. So this is
Mm-hmm.
not the kind of drink that I'll have on a daily basis. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a Sunday morning. It's my little treat kind of drink. Um,
Oh,
so it just tastes like toasted like roasted chestnuts, not toasted.
oh,
um,
roasting.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I don't know if you've ever had chestnuts.
I haven't. No, just in the song.
Okay, so I also never grew up eating chestnuts. I will tell you that my memory of having it for the first time was when I studied abroad. And I
Ooh.
studied abroad in Italy. I was in the city of Bologna, and it gets really
Oh.
cold, right? Like it's not
Uh-huh.
like snow. Like I think there was a day where it snowed or a couple days where it snowed, but it's maybe like an inch or so. Like it's a dusting. It's nothing crazy. But it gets cold, right? And for me,
Mm.
California, Southern California girl, that was like a pretty big deal.
Big
Yeah.
deal. Mm-hmm.
So just walking around, there would be vendors with like their, I don't know what you call it, like
Carts.
carts that's like kind of like a grill type of situation where they would roast the chestnuts and then they would serve it in a little
Ooh.
bag for you. And I remember walking with friends and deciding to buy some, and you have to kind of peel it. So like they pop kind of, right? So
Oh.
they're kind of hard when they're not roasted, but then once they get warmed up, they'll like crack open and then you kind of peel it off and then you eat the chestnut on the inside and it's soft and fluffy and warm. So something about like grabbing the chestnut and peeling it open, it would warm up your fingertips and then it's like
Oh.
very meaty and soft.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes great if you just like, and I don't even drink milk like that, but like having like a glass of milk with it or something like that would be amazing.
What an experience.
It is.
You took me to Bologna with you. Like, at I was just like, wow, that's so, it's like the epitome of like the holidays. Like,
It
it's just,
is. And it just
sounds
have
so lovely.
yeah, and having like all the street lights kind of decorated for the holidays, it
Mm-hmm.
definitely sets the mood. So anytime I have chestnuts now, which is not very often, I've tried to roast them myself and failed miserably. I think there's like an art to it that I haven't mastered. But
Yeah.
even now, when I've had them, it takes me back to that. And it is very cozy. It's a cozy feeling. And that's
It
what,
sounds cozy.
yeah, and that's what this drink kind of does for me. So that's why I love
Oh,
it.
wow. It's like I asked someone like, "What does this tattoo mean?" It's just like the letter A, and like you have this super deep like story, and I like that. I really appreciate that.
Well,
It's
I'm
so
glad.
nice. Yeah, mine's just like a basic. It's an iced shaken oat milk brown sugar espresso or
Yes.
something.
That's another favorite of
Um,
mine at Starbucks.
oh really?
Like for
This
a
is the first time
regular.
tasting it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's like a go-to staple. Like, okay, I need coffee. That's what I'm going to get.
Oh, yeah. I had to reduce the amount of shots, and the sugar. I think I customized it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like coffee-y. It's
Mm-hmm.
very dark, roasted feeling, with the espresso and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a coffee drinker. Like my coworkers were asking me the other day. They're like, "So what do you do for coffee?" And I'm just like, "I just put Folgers in water, cold water, and I just shake it." And that's all I do. Like
I
I
did
just
not
drink it
know that
black.
about you. Do you not
I
have
just
a
need caffeine.
Do you have a coffee maker at home of any
No, I
sort?
don't. No.
How did I not know this about you? I always thought you were like a coffee drinker.
I do drink coffee, but it's at the most basic of the basic form. I'm sure people who are like coffee snobs are like, gross, that's disgusting.
I will be honest with you.
But it works.
I cannot do Folgers. I think my parents did Folgers growing up, and I think that was like my introduction to coffee for sure.
I know.
But
I mean, same. But my parents have moved on, and they're just like, we drink Nescafe with canela. Like it's super like, oh, smell it, and I'm just like, I don't care, whatever.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, whatever works
um,
for you.
but this is very yummy. So this is a treat for sure.
I
Agreed.
When I was in my stressful like law school moments and working, I remember often swinging by Starbucks to get the brown sugar shaken espresso. And I would get a venti, and I asked for an extra shot. And
Whoa.
the barista was like, well, it already comes with four. And that's when I realized, like, oh, maybe the four shots wasn't enough for me before, but I kept it at four. I didn't add an extra one.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, yeah, maybe that was a
No, I
sign to
mean,
tell me I should calm down.
I knew people who were like, oh yeah, I drink 4 shots and sometimes 5, and I'm just like, how is that normal for you? But hey, to each their own. They have their tolerance, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely not good. Even now, where I'm at in terms of my caffeine level, I will have a cup of coffee in the morning, maybe a double shot that I make myself at work with the Nest, whatever they have. I don't know what they have. They have a machine at
Like
work.
K cups or something.
It's not a K cup. It's an espresso machine,
Oh.
but you can also make cappuccino and latte. And you could do a single shot or you can do a double shot. Like you fill up the thing yourself. I don't know the terms. So I feel like a little barista myself when I'm when I'm at work.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. I'll do one a day and that's it. I don't do anything else. Maybe if I take in more caffeine, it's in the form of like a Diet Coke for lunch or something, but nothing more than that. And when I was in school, and mind you, I was in school for these past 4 years, and when I was studying for the bar, actually, when I was studying for the bar, I lowered my intake, but while I was in school, I would drink a cup, maybe 2 cups a day in the morning, and then I would have my Diet Coke or whatever form of caffeinated beverage for lunch. I would take green tea, like pills, just because I don't know, I like green tea, so that's also caffeinated. And maybe I would even have like a matcha or something like for dinner, like right before class, I would take it with me.
Oh my gosh.
How was I not like, and now I know, yeah, I was like, now I know, like, oh, that's probably why I was grinding my teeth so bad and why I had to get a night guard. So yeah, it's
Those
definitely not the
stressful
best.
days. Ugh.
Yeah. But then I made the switch over to black tea, or not even just black tea, just tea in general, but black tea is my favorite. And that seems really nice. Like I like it.
Like in boba, like a milk
No,
tea,
like I
or
make it at home. I have a little
oh,
teapot set, a little, I'll
that's so cute.
I'll make myself tea and then I'll just like
With biscuits.
no biscuits. I need to up
No
my game
biscuits.
on that, but
Mm.
the tea is fun. It feels like a hug or something. I don't know how to explain it.
You have the best descriptive words. I love it. So, do you want to tell everybody the newest update for you?
Yes. So this month, about 10 days ago exactly. Oh my god, has it
Whoa.
already been 10 days? I found out that I passed the California State Bar exam. Woo! So, yeah, I mean, it was thank
Congratulations.
you. It was a long 4 months like of waiting for my results. The bar exam,
Wow.
for those of you who don't know, the bar exam is administered at the end of July every year and also in February. I took the July bar exam and it's 2 days of
Torture.
yeah, of torture. It's another way of saying it. And then you wait 4 months until November, three and a half,
Oh
I
my
guess you could
gosh.
say, until you find out if you pass or fail. And I was getting really nervous. I wasn't sure how I did. And, I felt like I studied the best that I could.
Sure.
I didn't feel like anything went horribly wrong while I was at the exam, but I also had moments where I wasn't like sure I did my best or if I answered the questions right, what have you, all that stuff. And I passed. Like I just couldn't believe it.
Yay.
And I found out that there were people that were actually getting the results like before the so they tell you you're going to get your results on November 10th at 6 p.m., right? So
Mm-hmm.
on November 9th, they send an email and they explain this is how you check your results. So you log into your portal and then you click on
Mm-hmm.
some stuff and then there's your results. I didn't even bother logging in until November 10th at 5:55 p.m. But what I heard was that other people were logging in when they got that email on November 9th and were able to somehow access their results.
Huh.
So people were finding out way sooner. And then when I logged in at 5:55, right away it said status pass. And I freaked out because I was like I was just logging in. It wasn't the moment I was like
Yeah.
waiting for, like so I wasn't like mentally ready to get my results.
Sure.
Like I had my boyfriend with me and he wasn't in the
Uh-huh.
room at the time because it wasn't 6 o'clock yet. So I was just like, wait, this isn't what's supposed to happen. And I also didn't believe it. So I
Right.
looked at it. There's like a link that you click and there's a letter attached to it. And I opened the letter. I downloaded it because for some reason I thought it wasn't real. And I thought, well, if I download it, it's got to be real. Like I have proof now. But I didn't.
Sure.
I waited 5 more minutes before I reacted because I was just like in a state of shock.
Well, yeah, you work so hard. You're in disbelief. You're like, no way. I mean, I get it. I believe it, but like, really? Like, for
Yeah.
real? I get it. I totally get it.
So I logged
Oh.
out and then I logged back in at 6 o'clock and it still said status pass. So then I then I
Oh.
just like jumped up and said I passed.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I passed. It's been great.
Wow. JD Esquire. Or what is
Yes.
the order of that?
So I have my JD,
Sure. Hmm.
but I have passed the bar exam, which means that I've met all the requirements to be able to practice law in the state of California. So I will need to take an oath before I can officially practice. And I will be taking that oath in the beginning of December.
Oh,
And
wow.
so officially, once I do that, then I can add Esquire to my name.
Oh my gosh, that is
Yes,
so exciting.
I know.
It's so official. I
I
love it.
thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. It's just a huge weight. So I was holding on to all these books, but I am going to
Sell
get rid of
them.
them
Get rid of
now.
them. Burn
Yes.
them. Just kidding. No.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I was gonna say, what else is new on the screen? I don't know. What is our segue?
Um,
Mm,
so I will say that the anxiety of waiting for these results has made me want to like just disconnect from everything in
oh, I
reality
see.
and just like veg out. And so I have watched so much television, it's not even funny. It's gotten to the point where now I'm like, I don't even know what to watch anymore. But I am currently watching Game of Thrones 10 years later.
Oh, like
Yeah, like it's over.
the Game of
Yeah, like it's
Thrones. Oh, okay.
I never watched it when it was on the air. I was never part of that like fan base. Um
I can relate because I've tried watching it 3 times when it was popular and going, and I failed. I would fall asleep every time.
yeah, and I think I same, right? Like I tried watching it a few times. I think
We're
I
probably the minority of like
yeah,
people.
and like I like sci-fi and stuff, but I'm just not like obsessed with it like some people are. And I think what it is for me is I need someone to watch it with me because I know I'm going to inevitably get confused or maybe like bored maybe because those there'll be like moments where are kind of like I don't know what's happening and I'll just disengage. But when I watch it in company who's like really into it, then I can follow along.
I mean, it really encourages you to like live the moment together and to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it after. And I feel like Game of Thrones, I mean, it's in addition for it like to be like sci-fi, it's I'm not sure if it's just like too old, like
Yeah.
historic, like it's just that time period that
Yeah.
just I'm not really interested in,
Mm-hmm.
like kings and queens. It's just too beyond like my interest. It's
Yeah.
not like yeah,
And
I
is that sci-fi? I don't even know if that's what that is.
don't know. Well, I mean, I guess it is sci-fi, right? Because there is they do include dragons, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like
So I
fantasy and it's like a
fantasy,
historical
yeah,
fiction, but like it's not even
fantasy
historical
fiction.
because it's fantasy.
Sure, it's yeah, yeah. So sci-fi, fantasy fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't know. I was just never really a
Yeah.
part of it and people were like so upset when it ended or something and
Yeah.
I have no clue what was going on. I was just like, "Oh, it ended? Okay." I mean, I've been into just other things like reality shows
uh
are definite like give me all the drama as long as it's
yes.
not my drama. Like I want to watch it.
I love it. Even if it's like so silly drama, like it's not even really drama, but like the way they
Yeah.
make it seem on television, it's like, oh my God, that's awkward. Or just awkward
Yeah.
moments, people
Yeah.
just not knowing. It's so entertaining being someone like a spectator and like
Mhm.
knowing like this person doesn't know what's going on or like they just don't see how they're acting, right? So, like,
Because we see everything, right?
yeah,
As the audience, we're able to see what Cheryl was doing behind Christy's back, or I don't
right,
know,
yeah.
not Christy. Let's use another name.
Who's
uh,
Cheryl?
Sharon.
Yeah.
But like, I just find, I mean, I started watching talk shows when I
Oh,
was like
yeah.
9 years old when my parents were home. I was watching Maury, Sally,
Jesse
Jesse,
Raphael.
Raphael.
Her glasses are great. Now that you mention it,
Yes.
I'm just remembering those red frames.
Yes.
Ricky Lake. Did you ever watch Ricky Lake?
Ricky Lake,
There was another one. She was a blonde woman. I want to.
Jenny
Jenny
Jones.
Jones. There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been watching reality since a small child, and then I also watch telenovelas, right?
Yeah.
And so when they came up with reality shows, whether it be the Kardashians, or like those real estate shows,
The Real
or those
World when we were like
the
growing up.
real world, yeah, road
Hold
rules.
on, quick.
Um,
On the count of three, tell me what your favorite Real World was.
oh
One,
shoot,
two, three.
Hawaii.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a
Yeah,
good one
what
with
was
Ruthie. You
yours?
know, I met Ruthie
Ruthie.
before.
Shut up.
Yes. Well,
Shut up.
I was at a bar in North Hollywood. This was many years ago,
Uh
and
huh.
she was there, and I took a picture of her and my friend who I was with at the time, and she was like giving her a kiss on the cheek. But I don't even really remember like talking to her or anything. But yeah, we saw her.
Yeah.
She's so tiny.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean I remember
Yeah.
those episodes.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Mine was New
New
Orleans.
Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of like
There was so
it was
much. Like
weird.
it was super blurry. I felt like I was there.
Yeah.
It was just drunken nights always, right?
Yeah.
So, most recently I've been like binging. I mean, I've seen the other seasons. Love is Blind.
Yes.
Tell me your thoughts.
I love that show. I've been obsessed.
Yes.
Uh
Oh my gosh,
like every
yes.
season I've been very into it.
Me too. Me too. And then I feel that like the drama from season 2 still kind of trickled
Mhm.
on um up until now, and then now there's just so much drama with a lot of the couples on the season 3.
Oh my god, yes.
Um
And I'll be fair, like I think that with every season I'm always thrown off. And I know it's only been 3, but I think each time I've been thrown off with how quickly the season moves. Um
yeah.
because you have like just a couple episodes in the beginning where they're getting to know each other in these pods, and then they're like falling in love and getting
Yeah.
engaged, and it's like what, like in that time frame I think is only like 2 weeks, so they're only in the pods talking to each other for 2 weeks, and they're
Yeah.
not only just talking to each other, like there's a lot of people involved here, so it's just like really weird as an outsider to
Yeah.
see like that.
And these people, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's too
it's too
fast. It's
fast.
crazy fast.
And I think the first season, there were moments where, as crazy and weird as it sounds, it felt genuine. Um, and
Mhm.
I think there were some moments that felt like that in season 2, but I will say that season 3 felt the least genuine out of the 3. And of
Yeah.
all the cast members on there, I don't think I was drawn to any of them this season, unfortunately, in a way where like
Mm.
I cared. Like I just didn't care enough
Yeah.
about any of them.
I obsessed a little bit on the most popular and more most controversial couple. I am on that wagon. I loved Zenab and Cole
Okay, when they
yeah,
were in the pods, I think
when they were in the pods, I was just like, what a different
yeah,
couple. Like what a an, like not odd, but it was just like what
yeah,
opposites. It just seemed like opposites were attracting, and I was loving it, and everybody was loving it.
yeah,
Like, and then, we saw what happens, right?
yes. And I have a lot of opinions
And
about that couple too, and I'm
oh
not
my
sure if
goodness,
we're on the
yes.
same page or not, but I spent a lot of time uh tweeting about this,
Yes.
and like I I have a lot of opinions. And I think, mind you, no, I think we need to kind of dive into the roller coaster of what is Cole and Zenab a little bit, just to
Let's
kind
do
of
it. All right,
understand.
so Love is Blind, third
Okay,
season.
season
Woo!
3.
I loved. Okay, so I was kind of catching on to like these people and who they were. My favorite was Cole and Zenab because they were just very
Okay.
unexpected, and like to be honest, I felt like Cole was this very like cutesy, like surfer kid that they just reminded me of like the class clown of like my high school that I went to. Like just like the very
Okay.
charming, well liked by everybody, easygoing kind of guy. And Zenab,
Okay.
I just felt like she was just super cute and like very clean, preppy, and in some ways I felt like they were such a good match because they had those like foundational
Hmm.
like values. And so then I was like,
Okay.
all right, we'll see how this goes. And I just thought like they're gonna make like the most adorable couple and like the cutest little babies and everything, right? As everybody thought in the beginning, as she thought, as he thought in the beginning.
Right.
But then as episodes started going, as things started to happen, it was
Right.
very disappointing to see certain things. And I know a lot of people are
Okay.
on team Cole. Oh, poor Cole. She
Okay.
twisted everything around. What a XYZ. No.
Hold on, I have to interrupt you. Are you speaking in terms of where you stand current day, or are you talking about like as the
No,
season was
current
going?
day. After the reunion and all.
Okay. Okay.
People have been hating on Zenab for whatever reason,
Hmm.
and I am 100% team Zenab after everything that happened, after all the things that were
Okay.
presented. I don't know how
Okay.
people could continue to believe and like and you know with Cole. Like no offense, he's a nice guy like Zenab says, but like no. Like it's
So I'm actually one of those people. I cannot stand Zenna present day. I cannot stand her. I think that as the show was going, I know as the show was going,
Okay.
I'll say this. I didn't care about Cole and Zenna while they were in the pods. Like even when they got engaged, like I felt indifferent about their
Mm-hmm.
relationship. I didn't. There were a lot of people on Twitter that were like, "Oh my god, he's so annoying." I didn't think he was that annoying. I didn't think he was like. I mean, I could see why people thought he was annoying. I guess. And I didn't really have an opinion about her either. Like people really loved her. I was indifferent about her. Um, After the pods, there were a lot of things that happened that I thought Cole was just like really
Mm-hmm.
stupid. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
immature. He did the whole comment about Colleen being a 10 and Zenna being a 9 and him not realizing how that could be
Mm-hmm.
hurtful. But along the way, as much as that was stupid on Cole's part, along the way, Zenab's insecurity was so loud to me. And it was just like it bothered
Mm-hmm.
me because the way she carried conversations with Cole, the way she troubleshooted a lot of these problems with him, were it was apparent that she didn't have self-esteem, she had low self-esteem, and that she was insecure about a lot of things, and so she just didn't handle
Mm-hmm.
it the best way, in
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. And then at the wedding, when she decided to just kind of rip
Uh-huh.
him a new one
Uh-huh.
at the altar, that did not sit well with
Mm.
me at all, because she should have, in my opinion, she should have troubleshooted these problems in real time. I don't think that she actually had the intention of making it work with him, because if she had, she would have addressed all those problems that she had with him while they were together. But instead, she said, "How could you think I don't want to be with you? I want to be with you 1000%," with a serious face that you could obviously tell she didn't
Sure.
want to be. She was so cold. Like you could tell, like it wasn't, the emotion wasn't there, but her words were saying it. And it was like, what is happening here? She just didn't seem like she was actually trying to give it a fair shot.
So I love that we are having different perspectives. I think this is great. I think So Zenab, I feel like they were just a toxic match. They didn't work out. They just were not
Right.
meant in the
Right.
end. They both realized it. I feel like Cole took a little longer for him to realize it because he was very emotional even during the reunion. And she's like, "I'm over this. Like, I've been forgiven you. I've been done that, or, years ago."
Yeah.
And sure, old conversations can bring up old, like, what is it? Open up healed wounds. And I'm sure they're, even to this day, they're still kind of going through stuff because everybody still talks about it. We're talking about it, and this was a year ago. Um,
Right.
I feel that Zenab, I felt, was committed. She thought she found her person that was going to fill her void because, she doesn't have her parents. She was raised by her mom, but who adopted her at a young
Mm-hmm.
age, because both her parents passed. And I feel for her, in the mental health aspect, that she had so much more to heal from as her own person, that
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't able to fully process the trauma she was like going through with Cole, uh because he
Right.
was saying these things that were just such an immature 25, 26-year-old would say. And like,
Right.
there's no excuse to it. He should just think through. And even in the reunion, he's like, "I can't believe I said
Mm-hmm.
that and could hurt someone." So he recognized that, and I do,
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I felt that, yes, Zenab didn't handle it well, and I felt like she held on to certain things, and she
Right.
couldn't
Passive
she was
aggressive.
dwelling. She just couldn't get over things. And it's like, when you show like maturity and healing, you move past it. But she obviously was always just stuck on things, and she was never going to get over it. And that was just very toxic and unhealthy. But I felt that
Super.
her being like so stoic and like emotionally unavailable has to do to like, with like her deeper wounds that she has as like childhood traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And like Cole seems like he just grew up in such a happy environment, right? He's just like, "Hey, like, what did I do wrong? I just told you you're ugly. Like, can't you just get over it? It's a joke." And she can't, right? Like, it was just so
Yeah.
much more. So I feel for her. He seems like a nice person. Yes, she might have like twisted things a little bit too much. She might have been dramatic and just ran with it because it was like the opportunity she had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck in, but I'm still Team Zenub though, because I just have sympathy. Like, she just needs healing. She just like we all do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. I agree that I 1000% agree she needs a lot of healing, and that you're basically proving my point in the sense that she is not ready for a relationship because she's the one that has to
she
do
does.
the
Yeah.
internal work to get to a point where she can handle a
Yeah.
relationship like that. Cole has a lot of growing
Yes.
up to do. Sure, he can also benefit from therapy, but him I think has more to do like with
Yeah.
a just a general maturity
Mm-hmm.
level, and also probably that they're just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
compatible,
I mean, but
right? Maybe he needs someone that's a little bit sillier, goofier, or
I mean,
something. I
but
don't know. A little bit.
but there were
I don't
certain
know.
things that is just kind of like, all right, I get it. You're from like Texas, from a very Christian. I don't know. It was just very,
Hmm.
not to judge, but it was a little
Yeah.
racist sometimes too. Like, you don't look, you're a Zenub, you're not like a Lily. So there were just a lot of things
Yeah.
that were just like, ugh, cringe. Like, it's just people who
Yeah.
haven't been exposed to other people who look different from them, that like he just hadn't been exposed
Hmm.
to anything like that. And I feel like he was just
Right.
completely oblivious. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, what, like. And so he's, like I said, like, he's
Yeah.
such an easygoing, charming guy that he's never. I was listening to another podcast that they were just like, he's never been held accountable for things. And I
Hmm.
think they have a point, because he was just so, he's the guy that everybody likes. And so for everybody to turn against him in the
Hmm.
reunion and everything, like all the girls are like,
Hmm.
"How dare you, like, I know things,
Hmm.
like, you guys,
Yeah.
um I feel like for him it was a shocker, and that's why all these people who are like Team Cole are like sympathizing and like
and coming into his defense, because he's just the type of guy that everybody likes. And I get it. Like, it's America's potential bachelor or whatever. Like, but like people like Zenab also need someone to advocate for them, right? Like, because she's gone through so
Yeah.
much, and she's not your
Yeah.
typical.
Well, she has gone through a lot, so I'm not trying to knock her for
Yes,
her
yes,
life
yes.
experiences. I just think that
Yeah.
I see your point in the sense that maybe he's not the kind of guy that's been held accountable before. So now, like, people, of course, are
Yeah.
going to come for his rescue because that's just what his life is. But I'm coming more from a perspective
What you saw in the
of,
relationship there and then.
well, I really think it's unfair to do this to a person where you're choosing to bring up your issues at a point where there's no point of return anymore. Like, you're not there. You're not bringing it up for the point of fixing it. You're bringing it up because you've just been collecting them. You're saying, you know what? This is why you suck. Okay. Oh, you're going to keep hurting me. Okay. This is how you hurt me again. And I'm just going to keep putting it in my basket. I'm not going to talk to you about it. And then I'm just going to drop it on you in front of everybody. I'm not going to give you a chance to speak or defend yourself or to fix this problem. And then I'm just going to walk away. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
people don't know your triggers and people don't know how they're hurting you, because there could be moments where they're not being malicious and they can still hurt you, but they won't know that they're hurting you unless you give them an opportunity to be held accountable
Yeah.
for it. So how can he take accountability for his actions if he doesn't even
That's
know
true.
what he's doing?
That's very true. That's very fair.
So,
Like, I totally get that because
sorry. And like, I hated that the other girls on the, like, the other couples were like defending her like that, because I felt like it was such blind defense.
one-sided.
Like, it was blind defense. And it was like, you're not even in that relationship. Number one, the things that you know, do you even really know? Because no
True.
one really
Only they know.
knows. And like, if you're gonna be mad at him, then give him a chance to make it right, at least. If you're saying he's such like a bad guy, I don't know, like the whole the cuties thing, we can talk about that moment if you'd like.
Yes, we can.
She didn't lie technically. When she repeated the conversation at the reunion, she did say word for word kind of what happened. But the implication that she was saying,
I love this.
it's obviously so different than what was meant.
Like, she painted a completely different picture where it's like he's like pulling the plate away, or like, in my head, based on what she had said, like, how are you gonna eat this? Like, you're like kind of inferring, I don't want you to eat because you're fat already or whatever. And
right.
And yeah, it was just it was very different. Like, the actual, clip of that, everybody was so like casual about it, and that was the thing. I think they just had very poor communication. Yeah.
Such poor communication. But do you realize that that moment, that's where you see her insecurity play out? How someone with an insecurity about their weight or maybe the way they look can take a comment.
Yeah.
Okay, some people shouldn't comment on your food, right? It can be annoying because you don't know what people's triggers are. You don't know how much people are eating. You don't know what people are feeling. Like, you shouldn't say, are you going to eat that, or you ate all of that? No one should do that.
Yeah.
Fine, right? Even if it's innocent and if there's nothing meant by it, it's just, let's just all stop commenting about food.
Agreed.
So I agree with that. But number two, I really do think it was innocent. He was having a conversation with her about like planning their wedding, and he kind of almost seemed like his brain, like even his glare was somewhere else. And I think he was thinking about having a really big dinner. He's like, don't spoil your appetite, right? But it came off innocent. And she reacted super defensive from the jump. He was like, are you gonna eat both of them? And she's like, well, yeah, it's one serving size. And then she, like, I don't know, she made it sound like he was trying to control how much she ate, and that she only ate this all day. And who told her to do that?
Yeah,
herself.
I mean, I feel like the moment of like how that one time where he was just like, "Oh yeah, these girls are, there's half of them are better looking than you," or I don't know how he phrased it, but basically just saying that. I feel like since that moment, or maybe even other moments before, I feel like she just kind of like took a turn and was just like, okay, this is a pro, this is a con. And she was just kind of like, she was slowly building up her walls. She was getting super guarded. He thought everything was fine, but she never communicated that this is what's going on in my
Yeah.
heart and in my head. And I am considering you not being, but I'm sure they had those talks, right? Like they were on the plane from Malibu to Texas, and she had said, like, if you don't want
Mhm.
me, then tell me, right? She just kept, I feel like she just wanted this so much, but like the more and more she got to know what she really wants, I feel like it's just not a good match.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wasn't a good match, but a good opportunity for them to have had that conversation was the
Yeah.
night before when
Yeah.
he's trying to make her dinner and she's telling him, like, I'm in it 1000%. But she was nitpicking him the whole time. And they laughed about it at the reunion. But, like, that was hard to watch, that whole thing. She was very much like the mother, and he was very much like
The little
little,
immature
like,
teenager son.
dirty
Yeah.
kid. Yes. And like obviously that dynamic is not sexy, it's not romantic, it's not what people want. I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
what he wants. He doesn't want to be yelled at like a
Yeah.
kid, and I'm sure he wants her to think of him as like a man and this and that. And she doesn't want to, she would probably
Oh
want to
yeah.
be pampered. So their dynamic just wasn't gonna work. But the fact that she didn't see that, even when him telling her, I just want you to be nicer to me or whatever, I think those were a poor choice of words. I don't think that's what he meant. I understood what he meant, but she
Yeah.
wasn't getting it because it wasn't
Right.
articulated right. So he wasn't saying she wasn't a nice person. I'm sure she was
I just
very
want you to be
nice with
sweet
him,
to me,
but
right? Yeah.
yeah, like make him feel like not a stupid little
Mhm.
kid, and and you treat him like a stupid little kid because in reality that's probably how
Yeah.
you see him and
Yeah.
how you really
Yep.
feel about
Yep.
him.
Yep. Yep.
So they were both
They
lying to
were,
themselves a
and I
little
feel
bit,
like
I
all of
think.
whoever was watching, including myself, like I just was obsessed so much because I'm just like, they're such good looking people. They should belong together. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And it was just an unexpected couple, and I just, yeah, it was just it kind of sucked to see that. But yeah, in reality, I was stalking Cole a little bit on Instagram, and the people that he follows,
Mhm.
I mean, they're really cute petite little blonde girls. And so that's
Mhm.
who I'm sure he's been dating in the past. And with Zenab, I
Mhm.
could see it could be whoever, but someone who's like fiscally mature or like financially ready
Mhm.
and, set with a career, maybe already has a few gray hairs and stuff, right? Like I just could see her
Mhm.
with someone who would take care of her, and because that's what she wants, that's what
Yeah.
she needs, perhaps, unless she like does some healing works on herself and stuff. But in my opinion,
She's a lot. Yeah, she has, I mean, she's a very attractive woman. No one's saying anything about that. Like, and I feel bad for her family situation. She's probably going to have insecurities about that for a long time. But I I don't know. I just really think it's, I guess I just don't really like passive aggressiveness. I think it's so mean to do that to people when in reality it's like it's scary. I know where it's coming from. Like sometimes it's scary to be
yeah,
confrontational, but it's the kinder thing
yeah,
to do. And it's passive aggressiveness is so cruel. Like I a lot of people didn't feel anything at the reunion when Cole cried.
I
I
did
felt
too.
for him because I can only imagine what it does to you psychologically to like have felt like everything
Mm-hmm.
is okay and then all of a sudden just hearing like all these things. And it's like, why didn't you tell me
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
before, right? It
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hurts. It feels like everything was a
Mm-hmm.
lie. It feels like you were being judged the whole time. It feels like you weren't really given any chance to really explain yourself or redeem yourself or learn or anything. It was just like, you let me be here just being okay, like doing all this, and then lying to my
Mm-hmm.
face. And then in reality, you were like hating
Mm-hmm.
me the whole time. It feels like it's just a
Yeah.
lie. It's a lie. So I don't like it. And I also hated that she said that he never apologized to her when we saw it on camera. We saw him apologize to
Did we?
her. When, yeah, remember with the whole Colleen thing? Or I think that's what the
Oh, the pool.
conversation was about, where she's like, I didn't get an, yeah, she's like, I didn't get an apology until 2 weeks later. And then he's like, I don't know why you would say that when we literally stayed up all night talking about it and we talked
Uh.
nothing about that, but
Uh.
about that. And I apologized to you all night. And we saw that. It took him a while to
Uh.
get there. It took him a while to get to the point where he understood it. But I remember they talked about it.
Yeah. I feel like I could
I don't
just
know. I have to watch the tapes again.
I mean I don't remember but I felt like I could just I don't know, I understand Zenab because maybe I am that
Yeah.
like crazy psychotic passive aggressive person and I'm like, "Oh, I get you,
Yeah.
Zenab. Yeah. Why do they no, but like I don't know. I in the reunion though, I did feel for Cole. I felt like I don't know. At a certain point, I'm just like, are they gonna get back together? Like, are they gonna like rekindle things?
Oh, that's the other thing.
No,
Sorry,
I
I'll let you
mean that
finish.
was basically it. But I felt for both of them. I felt like it was just a lot of miscommunication, lack of communication, and then just him being like a little too silly for her liking, I guess. Although that's what he said in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like well, that was like the first thing. He's like, I need someone to banter with, right? And they did have good
Yeah.
banter. They were like, chit chatting in the pods, and then it just didn't translate over when when things started to change and like he started having different feelings and thoughts about Zenab. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they slept with each other the first night on their honeymoon. She was so awkward the next morning. I think because she's admitted that she's never had a relationship,
Mm.
right? That she's so used to just like they come over and then
Yeah.
they leave. So I think she's used to a certain type of like sexual encounter
Mm.
probably. So maybe she didn't know what to do with their interactions the next morning. I don't
And she
know.
was overthinking it because she kept saying, well, Cole's acting super weird. He hasn't talked to me. And I think she was just super in her head. She was overthinking
Yes,
everything.
that's the
Yeah. Yeah.
insecurities. Yes, and that affects the way you move in the
Mm.
relationship, the way you end up conversing with someone, the way you end up feeling, because then you might end up putting your guard up in ways that you're not even realizing. As much as she wanted to probably make it work
Yeah.
and be open about it, I don't think she was. I think her guard went up super quick. And the thing that really upset me, and I still don't know how to make sense of it, but it rubbed me the wrong way, is at the reunion after he cried and after he was just like, I feel horrible, like I've been this horrible person to you, like I didn't know, right? And she tells him, I forgave you a long time ago. I am not like all that's like, I don't know what she said, but she was basically saying, I already forgave you. And in my head, I'm thinking, so you got mad at him for a month about numerous things. You dumped it on him at the altar, and then you just processed it all on your own, and then you just forgave him all on your own. Where was the resolution there? There's no resolution from having talked to him about it, from him having apologized to you, apparently, because he never gave you an apology,
Mm-hmm.
according to you. But somehow you just got over it. You just forgave him. So it's like, if it was so forgivable and you were able to get to a point of understanding, why couldn't she have addressed it to him in a
Mm-hmm.
better way? Like, why did it have to be so embarrassing like that for him and the altar? I just thought it was trashy when her family or friends started clapping at the wedding. I thought that was cruel. I just felt like it was cruel.
No, I see your point, and I could see that it was. but it is probably just something she wanted to handle on her own. She didn't feel like she could go to him or communicate to him because she never was able to. And so it was just something she
Mm-hmm.
needed to handle on her own. I mean, she was left. I just feel like even with my job in nursing, I'm just like, are you sad? Are you like, I feel like everything goes back to mental health, and I get it because she was
Yeah.
left without a resolution, right? With her parents passing away, like, what was she supposed to do on her own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody told her that this is what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe she was just
Mm-hmm.
she encountered this on her own again, and she's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to just deal with this relationship on my own because this guy's presence isn't here, you know, physically for me
Yeah.
anymore. His love isn't there for me anymore. I mean, I'm just pondering because, like, who knows what.
Well, I mean, that's a guard,
Yep.
right? That's
Yep.
her guard. And it all goes back to her
Not being
not
ready.
being
Mm-hmm.
ready. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a
Yep. Yep.
relationship, that's
No.
not going to work. Like, you're going to have to go through things with
And
your
you know what? Going
partner.
back to season 2, I think I get it now why Shayna was just kind of like, okay, I said yes to you, but like no more. I can't continue. And that was actually, now looking back, I'm just like, that was very smart of her to just end things and see the reality of it, that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she was a, you know, faith-based person and he wasn't, and they just weren't going to mix. Like, it was just isn't
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. And so the
Yeah.
fact that Zenab was seeing how he just wasn't into her physically,
Yes.
she should have just, she was like the older, mature person, so she should have just ended it
Mm-hmm.
at some point. But I felt like
Yes. If
she
she
kept
knew.
wanting it
Yes. Maybe for
for
TV
whatever
or
reason.
whatever,
Yeah.
but it wasn't honest with Cole. And forget about us as the audience, right? It wasn't honest to Cole. And the thing, just the cherry on top of it all, is that stupid apology that she posted on Instagram and turned her comments off. I don't know if you saw it. She wrote like a little, "Dear Cole, you know why I said what I said. I know
Oh, I
you
used to
know
see
why
that.
I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like this, and you know this and this and that. If you want to talk about it, whatever, blah, blah, blah." I don't know. It was all very much like you. And then she's like, to the audience. And every sentence started with, "I'm sorry that I'm your villain. I'm sorry that you don't agree with me. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And this is something I ended. I'm sorry, I'm using this like
No, it's
really
fine.
annoying voice as I say it, but it's because obviously you can tell how I read it. But I tweeted about it immediately after. I was like, I know she's not just getting passive aggressive with the audience now.
I mean,
I was like, girl, apologize to yourself and then apologize to Cole, because you do not need to apologize to us for whatever. Like, that was so passive aggressive. She's obviously not sorry to the audience. She was just trying to say, like, I get that you guys don't agree with me,
yeah,
but
just get
that's not my
over it. Like,
problem,
I don't
kind
care
of thing.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet again, I get
Poor
it. I
choice.
get Zena because, like, honestly, that's how I would feel. I would just be like, all right, I don't care anymore. We got married almost. Yeah, uh-huh. I'm sorry. Yeah, uh-huh. I'm over it. Let's move on, audience.
Yeah.
Like, stop
Yeah.
talking about me because, yes, I'm the villain. I'm Cruella
Yeah.
DeVille. Like, you know? And I get her
Yes.
perspective. It's just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, she does look like the villain. Yes, Cole, poor Cole, you know, but I guess I'm just
Yeah.
kind of more of
I
a whatever, get over it and move on. Like, you're 26,
Yeah.
you'll grow up.
And we will. Yeah. I hope he can move on from that, because I think what happens in those types of scenarios is that that becomes,
Another
if
trauma.
he doesn't heal
Hmm.
from that, yeah, right, if he doesn't heal from that, okay, he's going to have a
Well, I
problem
mean, hello,
trusting.
why wasn't his family on board? Like, he had just divorced someone a year and a half before. So, like, what happened in that
Hmm.
relationship? And they never shared what. Like, I know that
Yeah.
Zena did an article with BuzzFeed, and they were like, of course I asked him what happened with your ex. But, like, that was that. Like, they never
Hmm.
shared what happened, you know, whether there was infidelity, whether there was, you know, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think he might, like, maybe his family was right. Maybe he was just like rushing into something new, and it was like, because what is he doing now? Oh, I'm gonna start a podcast. That's what he is. He's
Is he?
working on that because the
Oh,
housing
that's so
market is
funny.
slow, and that's what he was doing. He was a realtor. He was a flipper, and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's 26. I was 26 once, and I get it. And you just want to try new things and
Yeah.
see and make it work, but sometimes it's just not going to. And he'll heal. I'm sure. I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
They both need to
do.
heal.
Oh my
He'll be
gosh,
fine.
yes.
She and like I just hated that they kept telling Cole he needed accountability or take accountability because I think
She
she
does.
also
She
needs to take
does. No, I do agree with
accountability.
that because she did use her powers, and I feel like she had the upper hand because she's a very smart cookie. And not to say that Cole
Mm-hmm.
isn't, but she did use things against him. She took tabs. I'm sure she like had a journal. And she did use her
Yeah.
powers not for the best way, just to make her point.
And she talked about it with her girlfriends in a way that made her seem like a victim
She left out some
and
parts. Yeah.
Cole like a villain.
And which
Yeah. And
prompted uh
sorry, and I feel yeah, like I feel like her friends, true friends will call you out on your BS.
hmm
That's my opinion. And they'll support you. They're not going to tell you how to live your life, but if you're kind of like going down a path that's harmful, I think a true friend will guide you kind of in the right
yeah,
direction.
no, and then they'll also kind of give you a level-headed view on both sides because like, all right, well, what really
Mhm.
happened? Really? Was it really like, I mean, I don't know. It's I can see how complicated it can get.
It is. Like your friend won't be like, yeah, like it's not you can't just have like unconditional like affirmations from your friends. Sometimes you do need that, right? And but at a certain point you also
Do
need to
you
hear the
though?
truth.
I
So
just want to live on fantasy
I think
land and
so.
just like everybody team Cynthia. No. No, and you know what? She's a princess,
I
and I
don't know.
think that's why she is who she is because it's like she has always maybe lived in this fantasy world. She wants everything to be perfect. She has trauma she hasn't healed, and
Mhm.
she just doesn't want to hear it anymore. Like, moving on. I want to look
Yeah.
good. I'm famous.
Yeah. And thank you for calling her a princess because I was so tired of seeing all the tweets of everyone calling her a queen because I'm sorry, a queen does not
No,
behave like that. She is
no,
not a queen in
no,
my eyes.
no,
Sorry, not
exactly.
sorry.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, because I could totally see the princess behavior, how pampered she's been, even without parents.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so
And like we could probably still talk about all the other couples cuz there's like at least two other couples I can think of that are
I
worthy of
just
more
feel that Cole and
conversation.
Zenab, they just deserve their own episode, just because of how
Yes, I
thick
agree.
the mud was. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
all
Agreed.
right. Well, put your thoughts, your comments. Let us know what you think about what we talked about, and who you want us to review or talk about. What TV show? What are you guys into? What are you guys watching? Please let us know in the comments.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Doing the Least with Christy.
And Cynthia,
And stay tuned for more episodes with us soon.
thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.